ESPN, the Total Sports Network, and the Professional Bowlers Association presents the $115,000 Southern California Open from the Town Square Lanes in Riverside, California. Brought to you by Columbia 300, home of the light dot, the white dot, the world-famous yellow dot, and the all-new U dot. And by your neighborhood True Value Hardware store. And by Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Everything else is just a light. Hi, everybody. I'm Irv Brown. Welcome to Southern California. It's a warm and beautiful night out here. We're going to have some action for you. My partner, Mike Durbin, is with me as usual. The guy who has won 14 PBA titles. And Mike, we've really had some scrambling this week out here in Riverside.
We certainly have, Irv. We have some scrambling, mainly of the bowlers moving up in the 24-man finals. Jim Harvey is our alternate. He finished 6th. Dave Houston is 7th. They both qualified in a tie for 23rd, so they moved all the way up there in the match play portion. Plus, Dennis Jakes, who is qualified 2nd, went into the last 8 games in 9th place. He averaged a fantastic 245 to move from 9th all the way up to 2nd tonight.
You know, you talk about Dennis Jakes, it is a young man's world. Dennis Jakes is 25 years of age, but there's a guy who's only 23 years of age. Both of these people have made some history this week.
Well, our leader for the tournament is Amleto Monticelli from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. He's only 23 years old. He's a great athlete. He was a good soccer player. He probably is one of the hardest workers on the PBA Tour right now. He has a very unusual style with 6 steps, and his shoulder opens up quite a bit. But he's averaged a fantastic 225 this week. He needs to win 1 game tonight to be the first foreign-bred player to win a PBA title.
Let's take a look at the people we'll be seeing tonight. We start out with the 5th position. That belongs to Bill Straub.
Bill Straub is definitely the Goliath in our first match.
Well, if he's a Goliath, what is Wayne Webb, who is number 4?
Well, Wayne Webb at 5'5" is the David in that first match.
Number 3 spot goes to Ted Hannes.
Ted Hannes is cool, meticulous, and confident. He's trying for his 2nd win this year.
Big Dennis Jakes is number 2.
And again, Dennis Jakes is the red-hot bowler in the PBA Tour. 3 championship rounds appearances in his last 4 tournaments.
And the fellow they're all shooting at, Amleto Monticelli.
Amleto Monticelli, definitely the man to beat tonight.
All right, we will come back and take a look in depth at the 5 bowlers right after this message.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made, the 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pin power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in Lanes and Pro Shop.
You'll help make your whole summer easier when you use convenience items from True Value hardware stores. These strong Service plastic trash bags, just $1.99 a roll, are great for cleaning up. And make trash removal easier with this True Value trash can on wheels for $10.99. Shine through power failures with the Rayovac Workhorse flashlight, just $3.99 with free batteries. Then take the game outside with the Master Electrician 60-foot extension cord. It's just $7.99 at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
No. What I wanted. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It'll work on your dandruff. Yeah, but I'm afraid it won't leave my hair the way I like it. Hey, this is great stuff.
Today's Head & Shoulders.
It's all I use. Okay.
Tough dandruff protection that works only on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
Tough on dandruff, right? But great on hair.
Today's Head & Shoulders. Dandruff care that's good for your hair.
Fifth qualifier is Bill Straub, Big 8 country. We were talking about a gentleman who coaches at the University of Nebraska. Tell me about Big Bill.
Bill Straub is 6'5", 255 pounds. He's won 2 PBA titles. He has a very upright style and a very effortless style. It seems like he uses no effort at all to get that big hook that he throws.
Fella has a pair of forearms. Looks like a couple of tree trunks or a big ham. He definitely will be a factor. Now, he goes against Wayne Webb from Indianapolis, a gentleman I think has got a lot of killer instinct in him. Tell me about Wayne.
Wayne Webb, showing the contrasting forms in bowling, is only 5'5", 150 pounds, but he has won 16 PBA titles. He's made 7 championship round appearances this year, won 2 titles. What he has in common with Bill Straub is he throws that big hook, and he's trying to use that to get his 3rd victory this year.
It's interesting, Mike, because he actually wasn't going to bowl this week. He was over in Hawaii enjoying himself, suddenly decided that he ought to get into the action. He'll be a definite factor. All right, the 3rd spot belongs to Ted Hannes. What do we know about Ted?
Ted has won 1 tournament this year. He won in Peoria this winter. The biggest thing about Ted is his drift left. He drifts about 18 boards left, and it's very unusual for a PBA player. But Ted is very calm. He's very confident. He's very cool. He does, however, take a lot of time on the approach. If he should happen to win 3 games tonight, we might stand a chance of running over.
Well, listen, we're up late anyway, so Ted will keep us here a little longer. He does have a bad arm. We'll see how that develops. 2nd spot to a very, very familiar face, Dennis Jakes.
Dennis is making his 3rd appearance in the last 4 weeks in our championship round. Of all the hook ball bowlers on the show tonight, I think Dennis probably throws the biggest hook. In the last 4 weeks, he has a chance, if he would win tonight, of making $40,000, and that's pretty good. He's coming from a virtual unknown, as Boris Becker did in the Wimbledon championships, to becoming an established star in the PBA Tour. He wants to win 2 games tonight to get his 2nd victory in the last 4 weeks.
Well, if Jakes can do the same thing that Becker has done, I guarantee we will have a story here. So we'll watch Jakes very, very carefully. All right, number 1, and that's what everybody will be shooting for tonight. Amleto, and this gentleman has just done a terrific job. We're talking about Amleto Monticello. Tell me about him.
Amleto's only 23 years old. He has a very unusual style. It takes 6 steps, and you'll notice how he opens that shoulder way up, which I really don't recommend, but he's young. He's only 23 years older, and you can do a lot of things when you're 23 that you can't do when you're 43 or 44, as I am. Amleto's probably facing the biggest challenge of his entire career. He needs to win 1 game tonight to win his 1st PBA title. It's a dream for him. We'll see how he responds to the pressure.
Mike, you know, he actually looks like a racquetball or a handball player the way he brings that arm up. How long can you continue to throw with that type of style?
Irv, it's hard to say. Again, I don't recommend that type of delivery. It is very hard on you. It's hard to be consistent with it. But again, he has youths going for him. He's a very young player. He's a very coordinated player. He's a good athlete in other sports. He's a tremendous soccer player. Look for him to bowl a good game tonight. He was on 1 time earlier. He bowled 223 and lost. I look for him to bowl a good game tonight.
All right, that'll set the scene from Riverside. Coming up, our very first one, it'll be Straub going against Webb. Stick with us.
The Olympic tradition continues with ABC's The Equestrians, 1984 Olympic Highlights video cassette. Produced by ABC Sports and offered by ABC Video, this 90-minute compilation includes a spectacular 3-day event which combines graceful dressage, exciting show jumping, and demanding cross-country competition. Order your cassette of The Equestrians on either VHS or Beta for only $69.95, plus $3 shipping and handling charges. California residents add $4.55 sales tax for each cassette. Call toll-free 1-800-445-3800. Georgia residents call 1-800-554-7800. American Express, Visa, and MasterCard orders accepted. Or order by mail. Send your check or money order payable to The Equestrians, 1984. To ABC Video Enterprises, The Equestrians, 2040 Avenue of the Stars, 2nd floor, Los Angeles, California, 90067. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
Improved formula new vinyl, the remarkable clear vinyl liquid that protects and beautifies almost everything made of vinyl, leather, and rubber, challenged the competition and won. Yes, in tough detergent tests by an independent laboratory, new vinyl lasted more than 3 times longer than these 2 competing brands. And new vinyl is easier to apply. Unlike the other brands, there's no waiting, no rubbing, no buffing. Simply wipe it on. In just minutes, your car's vinyl top can look showroom new. New vinyl is not a wax. It's a space-age polymer that actually penetrates and bonds, so it always remains flexible, won't crack or peel. New Vinyl's improved formula also gives longer-lasting beauty and protection to your car's tires, upholstery, dashboard, motorcycle seats, furniture, shoes, purses, luggage, almost everything made of vinyl, leather, and rubber. So get improved New Vinyl. There's no other formula like it. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Improved formula New Vinyl in 8-ounce or new 16-ounce spray bottle. Available at these fine stores.
Welcome back. Irv Brown, Mike Durbin with you. The best bowlers in the world. Match number 1. And of course, we'll have some practice tosses. Bill Straub and Wayne Webb. Story about this big guy. They couldn't find him.
Well, I think
they were panicking.
Yeah, someone said he was in the men's room, and I think he actually was in the paddock area, the locker room for the bowlers, and just changing his shirts. He had a blue shirt on. I think maybe he's trying to intimidate Wayne Webb with this black outfit, playing the Gary Player role here, and being dressed all black. However, the last time these two met was in 1984 at the Rolaids tournament in Anaheim, California. The very first tournament of the year. I happened to make that television show, and Wayne Webb defeated me in that show, and then he went on to defeat Bill Straub. Bill Straub was in the #1 position. Webb beat him 224 to 178, and interestingly enough, they'll be playing today right around that first arrow on that particular show. Wayne Webb was playing right at that angle and won 3 games to win the tournament, so he's very tough from out there.
I'll put you on the spot early. If somebody stuck a gun to your head and said, pick the winner tonight, who would it be?
As I said, you know, usually they whistle taps for the guy that I pick, but I'm going to pick Wayne Webb to go all the way.
All right, Wayne Webb is a selection by our Hall of Famer, Mike Durbin. It's a pretty good selection, 16 PBA titles. What about Bill Straub? Well, you saw the size of him. He's 6'5", 255, 34 years of age. There's the story, what he has done. 221. All right.
First shot of the match. This is not practice.
Coming in. Oh,
good shot. Solid 4-pin. The ball just finished a little bit too hard. Hit the pins a little bit too hard. Leaves the 4-pin.
You made the point early how he winds up upright. He does not bend at all. Just a big, strong guy.
But he does it so effortlessly. You know, a lot of players hook the ball a lot on the PBA Tour. Bill just does it with seeming grace. I've seen a lot of big men like that. They're just so graceful, especially in bowling. Billy Whaley used to be just dynamite. Whaley was 6'6" and just a picture of grace going to the foul line. And Straub, 6'5", and he's just pretty as a picture going up there.
No problem with the 4-pin. Let's see what Wayne Webb can do. Wayne is 27 years of age, 5'5", 150. A very strong 150. He stays in shape. He averaged 221 this week.
Swinging it to the channel, out past the first arrow, bringing it back, and didn't get it back. And it's interesting because he was throwing nothing but strikes in the practice book.
Leaves the 2-8. Let's see if Wayne can pick this up. Talk about this spare pickup, Mike. Is it a toughie?
It's a 2-8. Anytime you have a sleeper pin like that, Irv, it is a more difficult spare. He has to cover both pins with the bowling ball. If he were just aiming at the 2-pin, he could hit it on either side and make the spare. But he's got to basically hit the 2-pin on the right and have enough drive on the ball that it'll carry through and get the 8-pin. Let's see if he shoots it off his strike line or somewhere else. He's shooting it off the strike line, covers it perfect.
Good job. So we've decided nothing after 1. Straub picked up a 4-pin, Webb a 2-8. We're in Southern California, the active West Town Square lanes in Riverside.
Interesting. All the players have choices what lane they want to finish on here, except for Straub, who qualified 5th. They all picked a finish on lane 46, except for Webb, who picked a finish on lane 45. That's what he was doing in practice. That's why I was going to pick him.
So a spare and a strike for Wayne Webb. Let's see what Bill Straub can do. Straub, as we mentioned, the bowling coach at the University of Nebraska, says that he's got a couple great ones over there that will be on the tour soon. Kevin McGear, Terry Snybeck, so we'll watch for those two.
Did you ask him whether they're left-handed or right-handed?
Didn't get into that. Coming in.
Pretty shot.
Very nice.
Straub not quite out as far as Webb. He's out around the 6th or 7th board, bellying it out to maybe the 5th or 4th, but throwing that hook and bringing it back. Both players using the polyurethane bowling balls. As we see the score with both identical, 20 in the first and the strike up. The urethane ball, again, grabbing the lane more, getting more hook, and the PBA Tour being 99% urethane nowadays.
So he leaves quite a bit. We got a chance to talk to Big Bill, and we asked him about the status of college bowling. What's the status of college bowling?
I believe now it's really beginning to thrive. It's a similar situation to the way baseball was maybe 10 years ago, where the college program ended up being the minor leagues for the major leagues. Bowling is beginning to be the same way. Right now, a major source of the upcoming professional bowler is the college program. I think will continue that way. I hope it does with the women's program also.
Left the dinner bucket and chopped that 2 right off the 5. It looked like he had it covered all the way. The ball just snapped right at the last second. He gives Wayne Webb an opening here.
Bill was talking about college bowling. The 2 programs that you hear the most about, Mike, are Wichita State and West Texas State. I asked him, who's going to be the best program? He says, in 2 years, it's the Cornhuskers. We'll have to see if that happens. Webb, a strike up 3rd frame.
Webb up by 12 pins, can increase it to 22 with a double. And gets it.
And he does, beautifully. So Wayne Webb got a little opening when Straub unable to pick up that spare in the 2nd.
And as you remarked at the top of the show, you know, that Webb had that killer instinct, which he certainly does. He just, if any bowler on the PBA Tour has the killer instinct, it's Wayne Webb.
I get a kick out of it. We were talking to him, shooting the breeze a little bit before, and he said, I'm 27. I'm quitting when I'm 30, Mike. I'm going to let you chase the tour. He's lying. He'll be here.
Then he goes on and says he'll be out here for another 20 years, so.
Trying for a turkey.
Right there.
Yep, he got it. All right, 3 in a row for Wayne Webb from Indianapolis, Indiana. He leads by 32. We'll be back with more action right after this message.
Right now, your Dodge dealer is offering 1985 clearance savings on Ram Tough Dodge trucks, the only trucks in America backed by a 550 warranty. Buy any new full-size 4-wheel drive Dodge pickup and get $400 back. Buy any new full-size 2-wheel drive Dodge pickup and get $400 back, or 8.8% financing. Choose your truck, choose your deal. But you better get to your Dodge dealer fast while there's still plenty of choices left.
Watch your mail for this envelope from Transamerica Financial Services. If you qualify, you could receive $15,000, $25,000, even $75,000. Plus, as a special introduction to Transamerica Financial Services, we may be able to arrange a $3,500 loan by return mail. Watch your mail for this envelope from Transamerica Financial Services. Transamerica, the power of the pyramid, is working for you.
Back with you, Irv Brown, Mike Durbin. We're here in Riverside, and True Value, as they do each week, Mike, $25,000 to anyone who can bowl a 300 game during the telecast, and it certainly isn't impossible. Wayne Webb has 4 this year, and Bill Straub has 15 in his career, so 25 big ones if you bowl 300 during our telecast. Here's the 1985 PBA money leaders. Mike Albee, we saw him last week with brother-in-law Steve Cook. They're awesome. He's on top.
$145,000. That's an awful lot of money, you know.
Mark Williams was going to give it up, and boy, fortunately for the sport, he did not. Marshall Holman
pushing 100,000 there.
There's Hanley, Wonderlick, so people well over the $50,000 mark. David Ozio, very, very consistent bowler. There's the gentleman we were talking about, Steve Cook, that big left-hander. Who can forget that reaction last week when he won?
Wasn't that a dynamite reaction?
And we have an alternate here in each week. The gentleman who finished the 6th is our alternate. He must stick around for what, 1 match?
Before the start of the match, until the start of the match. And he's a familiar face. He was on 2 weeks ago in Dublin, California, Jim Harvey.
Jim's got a great future. We'll be in his hometown next week, Tucson, Arizona.
Nice looking young man.
Yeah, I like him very much. I like his approach. All right, let's get back to business. Bill Straub has got some wood to chop. He's down 32, open in the 3rd, 4th frame.
Wayne Webb has really put the heat on Straub, as he did a couple years ago.
Needs one. It's not coming in.
Oh, the 2, 4, 10. So many times after a break in the match, as we have a commercial break, it's just tough to come back and throw that good shot, you know, especially off of an open. He has to go for this. He wants to hit the 2 pin on the left and try and slide it into the 10. as he gives the approach a little whack as he steps up there.
Better shot for a left-hander, wouldn't it? This
Yeah,
one.
it's makeable definitely for a right-hander. I'd say the odds are about 5-1, 4-1.
Got a chance.
Oh, I thought he had it, and it just hooked at the back end again.
2 opens in a row for Bill Straub. Right now, he's in serious trouble. Big Bill earned $22,000 last year. His career earnings, $133,000. He was a good baseball player in high school. Had to give it up his senior year because he was bowling in a men's league for money, and it was illegal in the state of Nebraska.
I asked him if he ever played football for the University of Nebraska, and he said no. They throw him back his size out there.
All right, so he gets on track, and he needed it badly, a strike in the 5th. Let's take a look at the upright style of Bill Straub.
See how upright, and no other word to describe it. He walks just like he's walking in a normal walk up there. A little bend at the end, but the knees are pretty erect, and he gets the ball well out on the lane. Good finger lift, powerful ball.
Up by 44, Wayne Webb. Turkey working, 5th frame.
There it comes, light, 2-8 again. Tried to help that one a little bit and actually put stop on the ball and caused it not to finish.
See if Wayne can stay clean and pick up the 2-8.
Well, you have practice on it in the first frame, so he knows where to throw and what to do.
He is very strong. He does not keep that left hand, notice, Mike, under the ball.
Style developed by Carmen Salvino a number of years ago, adopted by many players.
Yes. Little body English.
He wasn't worried.
Not a bit. Up by 42 is Wayne Webb as he stays clean. Interesting. He wasn't going to bowl. That might be a great sign that he's going to win it tonight.
That happens before. I remember last year, Gary Skidmore wasn't going to bowl in Kansas City, and he happened to go down there, and he won the tournament. So this lane hooks a little bit less for Webb, but he's going to right in the pocket all the time.
So he needs to pick up the 10 to stay clean. Let's take a look at Wayne. Watch him turn that head, Mike.
Now, his head will turn to his left or our right just as he lets it go, and he actually doesn't see the ball go over target. The eye almost appears closed. Maybe he catches a glimpse of it out of that right eye, but it's very unusual. But he goes right through the ball, and it doesn't matter.
He's got the 10 as he goes across lane. Leads by 41. Straub does have a strike working. 6th frame action.
He's got to start striking now to bite into that lead. You can string strikes, you can cut into a lead, but you've got to when you got 2 opens already.
See if he can get a double here.
Light.
And he gets it. So Bill does string something together. He gets a double, and that's exactly what he has to do. He needs a triple, a turkey here.
Cuts it down to 31. One more cuts it down to 21. So the old adage, if you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a bowling ball.
Interesting bowling goal. Quote, to make more money than I spend bowling. Gotta like this guy. Looks you right in the eye when you ask him a question.
Well, he's well spoken as that little piece you did with him on the talking head.
All right, trying for 3 in a row. Bill Straub, Lincoln, Nebraska.
High Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, oh.
6-10. Just an errant shot. It comes at an inopportune time and cuts his lead down, or his deficit, to 33 pins if he converts the spare.
Bob Devaney, the athletic director of University of Nebraska, the legendary football coach. I asked Bill if he supports bowling. He says yes, he does. He's a great billiards player. Plays a great deal at the university. Looks good.
Has the spare easily.
All right, so staying alive, down 33 is Straub. Can he cut into Webb's lead? Well, we'll come back and see what Wayne can do right after this.
Do you do this too? Does a pencil in your hand start you sketching on any old piece of paper, drawing heads or figures or little scenes, or maybe your dog? If you like to play around with a pencil, chances are you have the basic interest needed to help you become a serious art student. Here's how you can find out. Art instruction schools will send you free, without cost or obligation, this simple art test. You take it at home in your spare time. Experts will examine and grade your test. Remember, it's absolutely free. Just write or phone for your free art test today. Phone this number now. Operators are waiting. Or write to Art Test, give your name, address, and age.
Thursday, golf, the Olympics, and Top Rank Boxing. There's special live first-round coverage of the Women's U.S. Open from New Jersey. After SportsCenter, the USA captures more gold at the '84 Summer Games. 6 Olympic showdowns are featured as the spirit of excellence continues. Then silver medalist Willie DeWitt goes for his 5th professional win, and ESPN middleweight champion Ray Gray takes on Mike Tinley on live Top Rank Boxing. See it all Thursday.
Well, welcome back. Along with Mike Durbin, a playing member of the PBA, I'm Irv Brown. As we watch our first match, Webb leads Straub by 33. Spare going, 7th frame action.
Wayne told me in practice that this lane hooked more than lane 45, but interestingly enough, he's been coming up light every time. Not this time. Ooh.
Oh, he likes it. Great reaction from the green machine.
Looked like he was going to continue driving right on through, but it just kind of held pocket for the last second, tripped that 4-pin.
Take another look, Mike.
You watch the 2-pin, 3rd from your left, and it will go to the wall, come off that wall, and the butt of it will get both the 4 and the 7.
A gentleman by the name of Weber does that pretty good.
Oh, Weber had all the hits in his heyday. He carried the light ones, the high ones, the crossovers. Webb taking a second re-rack on lane 45. This is an important shot for him right now. Again, that killer instinct that we talked about. He's up 33. He can really put a couple of nails in Straub's coffin with one more here and increase his lead to 43.
See if he can pick up his 5th strike of the match. 8th frame action, a strike going. Has his opponent, Bill Straub, down by 33.
Wayne has been doing that more and more lately. He starts in the approach, something doesn't feel right in the grip or in the way he's starting, and he stops and backs off and goes through the whole routine and ritual again.
What a mind games in bowling in there.
Well, it's a mental game, that's for sure. He's light.
Oh, he triggers it on a double going. Up by 43 is Wayne Webb. Bill Straub said something interesting to me, Mike, I wanted to ask you about. He said he's a calculated guesser as far as the target and the ball to use. What does that mean?
Well, as far as picking the ball, sometimes it is almost like a crapshoot as far as what ball is going to work at a certain time as he leaves the 4-6-7 and just puts himself virtually out of the match. I'm not exactly sure what he means by the calculated target unless he's there's a number of players on the PBA tour that will look at a certain target, like the second arrow. They look at the 10th board and they don't actually hit it. They hit left of it by 2 or 3 boards, but they do it consistently. And maybe that's what he means, that he's one of those type of players.
The 3rd open for Straub, and that just about seals his fate. It would take a minor miracle. He is down 60.
In order to win, for him to win this match, Webb would have to have a heart attack or something. We don't.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. No. Wayne is not shy. Let's see if Bill Straub can finish up strong.
I get to 310 this time. Well, the last time they met, it was 224 to 178, and Straub's got to go something to get 178 this time. He's got to make this and get a double on the 10.
So unless something crazy happens, Bill Straub is going to finish 5th and earn $4,000.
Move left, try and hit the 3-pin on the right, and almost went between them. 9 out, and our runaway matches are continuing on ESPN. We haven't had too many close ones so far this summer.
While Wayne gets ready, we mentioned Jim Harvey. Mike, he earned $3,500 this week. David Husted, $3,000. He was 7th. Richie Sajak, $2,800, was 8th.
Trying for one more.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
A turkey for Wayne Webb.
The green machine.
Continuing with the top 10, Alan Granite from Palisade, Colorado. Picked up $2,600. And a young line, Brad Bowling from Thornton, Colorado, earned $2,500. We'll have more information later. 78-pin lead for Wayne Webb from Indianapolis.
Trying for one more.
Yep.
That name you just read is a great name for bowling, Brad Bowling. He's in the right sport, isn't he?
I saw him 2 years ago when people suggested that he ought to do this for a living. Thornton High School, my area. He had that bulldog in his eyes. Right then you could tell that someday the guy's going to do something.
We've had a number of players that have been on the tour at one time or another that names fit into bowling.
Oh,
it's one more. Dennis Lane from Tennessee was one.
Yeah.
Dave Frame was another from, and of course Charlie Tapp. You know, we figured we need to get them all on one team.
That's 5 in a row for Wayne. He leads it by 98.
One more and he's going to finish with 257. We could have a 100-pin match here. There he is.
Oh.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he?
6 in a row for Wayne Webb. 9 strikes. What a performance.
Well, demonstrating that it's not size that matters in the sport of bowling. And Straub getting his 3rd split in a row. 4th of the game and possibly his 5th open, the 210. If he fails to convert this, he would bowl 148, and Webb would win by 109 pins.
One of those days. Ooh. Just misses the pickup. So a little frustration for Bill Straub. Wayne Webb advances. He winds up with a solid 257. All right, we'll be back as he takes on Hannah's right after this message.
I'm here to tell you all you get by ordering Sports Illustrated now.
And I'm here to make sure he gets it right. Get it right.
Yes, sir. Mr. Alzado. Sports Illustrated not only gives you unbeatable weekly football coverage, they'll knock you over with their big 1985 college and pro football spectacular. And it is spectacular.
Go on.
It's filled with football. Full-color football. A bright look at the players and teams and the games they play. It's a lot of great stuff you don't find anywhere else. But you can get it all by calling this toll-free number, 1-800...
Wait a second. Don't give them that number yet.
But they need the number if they're going to call.
Not until you tell them everything they get.
You get the famous Sportsman of the Year double issue and the annual swimsuit issue. As always, a beautiful preview of what's new under the sun. And it's all yours. And by ordering now, you get 40% off the cover price.
Give them 50.
50?
Well, almost 50.
Okay. You get almost 50% off the cover price. So you'll get 30 issues at the low basic rates, payable in 3 monthly installments of only $9.89. So every week, no matter what the sport, you'll get the timely, colorful coverage that only Sports Illustrated can give you. What more could you want? Just call this toll-free number.
Give them this, too.
Free?
Free.
You also get free this handy 1985 NFL football schedule. So
this?
They get this great pair of binoculars, too?
Do what I say.
So call now, and you also get these sporty, high-quality binoculars.
Free.
Free with your paid subscription. They're perfect for getting closer to football or anything else you want to get close to. And they're free. Oh, and so is this handsome carrying case from Sports Illustrated. Not only do you get a lot of football, you get a lot more.
But to get it, you better call now.
I do what he says.
Call now. 1-800-221-3200.
Well, this was really the turning point early for Bill Straub, Mike.
It's hard to believe there was a turning point in a 100-pin match, but in the 3rd frame, Straub left the 2-4-5-8, and he chopped it, got behind then, and from then on out, it was all downhill. So Bill Straub just chalks it off to experience, and what can you do? You know, things just don't go your way.
Story there, Wayne Webb, a solid 257 with the 9 strikes. Next week, we'll be in Tucson, and I'm really looking forward to this one. The $115,000 Tucson Open. Ron Palombi won here last year, and he'll defend his title. What kind of bowler is Ron?
Ron's an excellent young player, one of the up-and-comers on the PBA Tour with a lot of potential. But by the way, you know, an old fella happened to sneak in and win there 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Who was that?
That was me.
Talk about that old fella. Mike had a chance to check out the lane conditions. And let's take a look and see what Mike had to say about it.
Over the past few weeks, we've been talking a lot about the lanes breaking down and about the PBA doing the lanes on the tour and the different conditions. And tonight we thought we'd like to show you some of the ways that the PBA does the lanes on the PBA tour. One of the first things that they do is that they use a machine, as we see going down the lane right now. This machine will oil the lanes for about 16 feet. Then it will buff the oil into a lane for a distance of 34 feet. It's probably the simplest way to do the lanes, seeing as somebody just needs to set the machine on every lane, and it does it uniformly all the way through. That's not the only way we have of doing lanes, though. There are other ways. The other basic main way is what they call a spray gun. Man gets out there and he sprays the lane, again, starting at about 16 feet, all the way back to the foul line. Then he uses a mop, such as we see here, pushes the oil for a distance that varies from about 34 feet, sometimes a little further, sometimes a little shorter. When he finishes pushing, he then pulls it all the way back to the foul line. It's my opinion that this is probably the fairest way that we have of doing lanes, as it makes it equal or somewhat equal from left to right, and for the bowlers who hook the ball a lot and throw it a little bit straighter. After he finishes doing the lanes in that manner, then he wants to check the lanes. And what we're going to see in just a second here is what they call a lane analyzer. One of the men demonstrating this is Mike Kelly right now, and what he does is he checks from the 5th board, the 10th board, and then the 15th board. As that little gauge slides further out, that means the lane is slicker right there. Now he's checking it on the lane, left side of the lane, and you can see it went all the way to the end. Doesn't quite make it now. That indicates the lane is a little bit drier right there. What he's trying to create is a slight blend. In the middle of the lane, it's the slickest right there. And again, what he wants to have is a blend right there with a little bit slicker in the middle and a little bit drier on the outside. The other way he has of checking the lanes is simply with his own finger. He puts his finger on the lane and he draws it across about 6 boards, and then another 6, and then another 6, simply to see if it's a little bit lighter on the outside and a little bit wetter in the middle. The goal of all this is to simply try and create an equitable shot left to right, one that'll stay the same from day to day. It's a tough job at best. We have 3 men that do it, and I think that they do it very well.
It's an interesting feature. I can tell you this, Mike. You're either very, very popular or very unpopular. It's about a 5% versus 95.
Right. There's only, well, actually, there's a 30%, 33% of the people cash or make money in each tournament, but the other 66% or 67 don't make any money, so you're not popular with them. So it's a difficult job for them to do. You can't please all the people. There's a lot of different factions or segments on the tour. There's guys that throw the ball straight. There's guys that hook it a little bit. There's guys that hook it a lot. Boomers, we call them nowadays. And so it's just hard to satisfy all these different factions. And then there's the left to right. PBA lane maintenance was born out of a left to right controversy way back in the early 1970s. And one particular tournament we had out in San Jose back when we used to have only 16 finalists. In one tournament, all 16 finalists in the top 16 were left-handed. And it was at that time that the PBA decided that they had to have some kind of lane maintenance policy. And we've been doing it ever since then, and it's never popular. The guy that does it is never popular, and interestingly enough, the lane man that's in charge of that is Lon Marshall. He has helpers that come and go, and they never seem to last too long. So it's a demanding job, and it doesn't pay a lot, and you're very unpopular.
All right. Interesting. We're warming up now. Wayne Webb threw one in the gutter. I'm not so sure he didn't do it on purpose. Ryan Byrne used to throw it up the screen every once in a while just to keep you from digging in, and Webb is that kind of a guy. He's liable to shake you up.
He's picking the wrong guy to try and shake up. Ted Hannes, I don't know what kind of score Ted will bowl, but Ted's not even paying any attention to what Wayne Webb is doing.
He really concentrates on
he concentrates on his own game. He's, you know, you can shoot a gun off, and he's just not paying any attention to what anybody else does.
We're looking at Ted Hannes. He's big. He's 6'2", 185, 28 years of age, and he's been around a while, 6 years as a PBA member. He's won 3 titles.
2 of those are in Peoria, Illinois, and he's always bowled very, very well. The other one he won is in Waukegan. He's always bowled very, very well in the state of Illinois. He's made a lot of television shows there, made a lot of cashes, and he's won his only 3 PBA tournaments in the state of Illinois, but we're not in Illinois now.
He did capture the True Value Open in Peoria, Illinois. Top seeded, he defeated Bob Hanley in the title game, 215 to 190. Wayne Webb had it all his own way in the first match against Bill Straub, a 257. He had 9 strikes, 6 in a row. We're ready to go.
And he's getting all the breaks. Trips that 4 out of there.
Well, this is the gentleman who smiles that Mike Durbin picked, and that's a big start.
I mean, he's got a burden on his shoulders with me picking him there, I tell you. He doesn't even know it.
Ted Hanna has really had a problem with that wrist.
That's why he's got that device on his arm right there, on his wrist. It's a homemade type thing. It's something is disturbed Ted, and he'll do that quite often. He backs off the approach. Somebody either moved or something. But it's a homemade wrist device. It's not sold as one of the many wrist devices or what Webb is wearing or anything like that. It's like a cast almost that he has it in there, protected tendons in his wrist that were damaged last fall. Playing a little deeper. And
yes,
right in the pocket.
Did a great job. We were talking about that bad wrist, and I had a chance to talk to Ted and asked him about the wrist.
My wrist has not bothered me much at all this year. Through taking therapy last fall, through my therapist at home, Tim Irvine, we seem to have solved the problem. And this week I've put a little more pressure on my wrist, and it's bothered me a little more this week than it has in weeks past. But basically the problem is gone.
Mike, it's interesting, yeah. You know, he used some wrist weights. Started with 2-pounders, went to 10 pounders as he gets his double. But he used those wrist weights, and he rehabilitated for 5.5 weeks, as he mentioned with Tim Irwine. But boy, that could ruin your career suddenly.
Oh, it's scary in bowlers. And there's a lot of players, you know, there's so many what we call wrist bowlers on the PBA tour today, ones that cup that wrist up and try and get that wrist into the shot when they're throwing it. And a lot of them do have tendon problems in their wrist. And some of the older players like myself that don't use the wrist don't even know what it is. Wonder how long their careers are going to last. Webb leaves the 4-pin this time. He finds himself behind for the first time in the match. I find it interesting. Hannes and his 4 practice balls didn't throw a strike.
I know it.
Comes right out and bang, throws a double. I mean, that shows you something about the character of the man.
Got to have the band playing, the cheerleaders. He's a gamer. Wayne Webb leads a tour this year, 400 with 300 games, I should say.
Cross lane at the 4-pin, no problem.
So he stayed clean through the first game and doing the same thing in the second game. Down by 10, Wayne Webb. What's he doing now, Mike?
He's got a little bottle of powder there that I was looking at, and he simply goes back to get it and put it on his thumb to try and keep a smooth release. He keeps a very tight thumb hole, I think, and puts that powder on there so he can get out of that ball cleanly. Interesting, then he blows it. He puts the powder on the thumb and then blows in the thumb. The thumb, when you blow in the thumb like that, it creates a little more suction. Looks good.
Coming in. Yep, no question about it.
He carried that light hit high percentage of the time.
Hannes is up by 10. He's got a double working.
Ted already asking for a re-rack on the right lane. I'll tell you what, Ted takes his time, and there's nobody that's going to rush him. He does what he wants to do, and he gets out there and he's his own man.
He was taught by his dad and his brother, Ernie and Gary. Gary, the brother, that's Julie.
There's his wife, Julie. They have a little baby.
We were talking about his brother, Gary, though. Gary really helped him. Ted has played other sports. He was an all-league pitcher, walked on at Ohio State. Had a cousin, Gerald Hannes, who pitched in the big leagues.
Trying for 3 in a row.
Oh, break! Boy, a turkey. And Julie's happy. Well, why not? We're going for $16,000. That pays a few bills. $8,200 for second. Third place, she gets $6,000. Fourth, $5,000. Another re-rack.
Yep. Now, there's a PBA rule that we have that we've initiated to try and save time on the championship round on the television show. That after you bowl on that right lane and you come over to the left lane to bowl, you cannot go to your bowling ball or anything until you look at that rack. You've got to look at the re-rack first and then ask for it before you ever touch your bowling ball. If he'd have picked up his bowling ball and then looked at the re-rack, Harry Golden wouldn't have given it to him.
Harry Golden, affectionately known as Goose, gets up and he walks over.
And he's asking for another one. He's already exhausted his 3, and I don't think Goose gave it to him. He said, shoot it.
And the reason they call him Goose, you explained it last week if somebody wasn't with us.
Well, he's the mother goose, you know, for all the players. We're his family. For years, he was never married. Now he's married to a lovely lady, Dottie, who's in Florida, and I think she's going to be out next week. But we were his family, so he was known affectionately as Mother Goose, you know, and just shortened to Goose.
All right, 3 in a row. Hannah's in the 4th frame. Remember, $25,000 if he bowls the 300 game.
See, I think that was psychological. He did not like the rack. And so subconsciously, he tried to fit that ball into the 1-3 pocket rather than just going for the target and making the shot. It's kind of like aiming that baseball. Instead of just letting it go, he tried to fit that shot in there. And I think it was caused because he wasn't happy with the rack.
Leaves the 4-7.
Cross lane at the 4-7.
And he's got it, so he stays clean. Hannah's leads it by 18 over Wayne Webb. We'll come back with more action right after this message.
Normally, your Dodge dealer waits till September for his clearance.
Come September, it's your Dodge dealer's end-of-the-year clearance.
But cars and trucks keep rolling in.
Come August,
So
it's your
now,
Dodge
we
dealer's
put
end of the
8.8% financing on some great Dodge cars and trucks. 8.8 on selected Ram Tough Dodge pickups. 8.8 on the revolutionary front-wheel drive Dodge Lancer. Both backed by Dodge's 550 protection plan. All now, before the end of the year.
Announcing the before the end of the year clearance. With 8.8, why wait?
Times they keep rolling on. The showboat, they keep rolling on. The showboat, that's where you belong in Las Vegas. The showboat.
Saturday, July 13th, Roller Derby, America's roughest, toughest sport, returns to the showboat as the LA T-Birds, Outlaws, and Golden State Bombers battle for the President's Cup.
Well, this summer from July 26th through August 4th, ESPN will present over 35 hours of competition from the United States Olympic Committee's National Sports Festival. This is the 6th edition of this event. You don't want to miss this. Almost every member of the 1984 U.S. Olympic team participated in past National Sports Festivals. One of my favorites. Be sure and join us July 26th. It's live only on ESPN. Let's talk about some people who have done a good job this year. Look at the leading averages. Wayne Webb right on top.
Familiar face, Marshall Holman right there, Pete Weber. David Ozio having his finest year this year, averaging 212. Our leading money winner, Albee. Bob Hanley, who's not bowling too well yet so far this summer. Roth always around there. And there's Monticelli.
And we will see him coming up a little later on tonight. Right now, back to business, down 18 is Wayne Webb. Look at the determination as he steps up. He's got a strike going. 4th frame.
Down 18 pins and needs to bite into that lead with a double here.
Looks good. Yep. A double, and he cuts the lead to 8. Wayne Webb.
Hannes never saw it. Hannes looking down, fiddling with his towel, never saw it.
Is that just a superstitious nature for Ted, or is he concentrating?
I think he's concentrating. Ted's concentration is tremendous, you know, and just if your player gets a lucky strike, you don't really want to know about it. I don't think it's a bad idea. Sometimes you peek a look there, you know, you kind of just sneak it in there. You're not looking. He did. He peeked a look.
He sees a strike. Whoa.
Now he's behind.
Boy, a triple for Webb, who was voted Sporting News PBA Player of the Year in 1980. Biggest tour win was the 80 Firestone tournament, a tournament you're very familiar with. You've owned it.
Well, I haven't owned it, but I've had reasonable success there.
You've only won it 3 times. All right, as Julie looks on, let's see what Ted can do. He's down 2. Spare going, 5th frame. Well, I'll tell you what he's upset with. He felt that the cameraman moved.
He's moving the camera, he feels, and he sees it out of the corner of his eye. Ted's concentration is good, but he also has great peripheral vision, and he sees a lot of things.
Be an outstanding billiards player as we take a look at him. He could cut the ball backwards with that kind of eyesight. Down 2, 5th frame. Looks, oh, and he triggers it.
He's sure getting the brakes on the hits. 2 high hits, tripped the 4-pin out. He was light, slapped that 10 one time.
He had no chance, it looked like, on the 4-pin. Look at the drift here, Mike, as he picks it up.
See him start way over here to the right, and he's going to watch the first step. It crosses over to the left quite a bit, about 10 boards almost. And then the next one, then the third crosses even more, and he slides reasonably straight, winding up way left, the ball going over the second arrow. So he's standing way right of his target right now. He's standing 6 to 7 to 8 boards right of the target he's aiming at.
Strike going 6 frame.
Trying for a double.
Little light. He leaves a 7.
Boy, could have carried. Light shaker there's a high percentage hit, as we've seen Webb carry a lot of them.
It's interesting, Mike. You're from Ohio, and Ted is from Zanesville, Ohio. There's a 9-year-old from his hometown by the name of Josh Colley. High average for his age group in the state, over 160. And it's amazing what young bowlers are doing.
That's pretty good average for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I'd say.
Cross lane at the setting pin. Well, that's good to see. You know, the future of any sport, of course, is in its youth. And within the bowling industry, we've been a little bit concerned about our youth bowling, and we definitely need to see young people turning out for our sport.
All right, here's young Wayne Webb, 27. That's still young. 3 in a row.
Looks young to me, I'll tell you.
6 frame. Leads by a deuce.
Can increase it to 12 with 1 more.
Coming in. Oh, he leaves a 10.
Solid 10. Both professional bowlers are so funny. Webb just made this little turn at the end like he'd been hit right in the jaw, you know, with that solid 10.
Hey, he threw it in that 1-3 pocket. It looked perfect.
You got them round pins down there, and that round bowling ball hitting you. You don't know where they're going to fly all the time.
And Hannes has had a couple of bad hits that have resulted in strikes.
Cross lane at the 10 pin. Gives him trouble sometimes, but he has it.
So he stays clean, leads by 1.
So it boils down to a 4-frame match right now. Now, we haven't had too many close matches. We'll do a couple here. Webb asked for a re-rack on lane 45. I mentioned that the town square lanes today spent all day working on these racks so that they'd be good for the professional bowlers tonight. It wasn't through lack of effort, I'll tell you that.
Spare going.
Right there.
Oh, boy, did he get some action. That's 7 and 10 go down.
He gave a little Boris Becker body English, too.
All right, Hannes is down 1. Let's see what he can do. There's our leader, Wayne Webb. More action coming up from Riverside right after this.
Give me a light. Bud Light. If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Bud Light!
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best. Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Columbia 300 knows that all bowlers are not created equal. That's why Columbia 300 has spent years in research, just to have the right bowling ball for you. If you need less weight, the light dot. Bowl on drier lanes, the white dot. The perfect all-round ball, the world-famous yellow dot. And if you're ready for urethane, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is your ultimate weapon. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes and pro shops.
It's an exciting Friday of total sports on ESPN. First, you'll feel the pressure in our live second-round coverage of the Women's U.S. Open. And after SportsCenter, more shining examples of the spirit of excellence. See the top performances in women's diving, plus team handball and judo. Then the Oakland Invaders and Baltimore Stars are in the spotlight. We'll profile both teams with a special in-depth USFL Championship preview. It's all Friday on ESPN.
Ted Hanna's down by 1. Let me ask you something, Mike, about him. He takes his time. Does this upset the other bowlers?
If the other player is a fast bowler by nature, it has a tendency to bother him. If the other player happens to be slow and meticulous as I am, it doesn't bother me at all. The player can take all the time he wants, and it doesn't bother me.
Spare going. 7th frame.
Yep. Great shot.
Well, we have our best match maybe of the year.
Well, it's a 3-frame match now. Webb still has the 1 pin.
Let's take a look at both of the bowlers and let you analyze a little bit here.
Both of them holding that ball down there to the right. See Ted with his drift. The ball square in line with his shoulder, though, as he comes through right close to his ankle, left arm out there for balance. Webb, more traditional, walking the straighter line with a very straight arm swing. Ball coming right back. Coming in perfect position, the shoulder down just a little bit on that particular shot.
This is Hanna's.
High.
Oh.
3-6-10, just yanked on it. He's having trouble with the left lane. Stuck at the approach, that's what it was.
So Hanna's, who is very meticulous, goes up and goes through the approach. The 3-6-10, difficult?
Tough spare. Anytime you got more than one, it's tough, but you got to get left on this shot. You want to hit the 3 pin on the right, and the ball deflected actually hit all 3 pins. It's easy to chop. He has to have this spare to stay in the match. Can't afford to give Webb an opening now.
All right, let's see if he can pick it up. Biggest shot of the match, maybe.
On the outside.
Oh, and he leaves the 10. Could that be the one that we look back at, because Webb is now up 13?
And we talked earlier, Webb has that killer instinct. I'd be willing to almost bet my paycheck that he'll strike here.
Well, there might be some takers listening.
That's not that much, so.
Up 13 is Webb. Hanna's left the 10 in the 8th frame. Let's see if that is the one we remember. Here's Webb. Strike working. Oh, boy, did Mike Durbin call that the prophet?
Webb is tough. There's just no two ways about it. He's a great match game player. He's asking for a re-rack over here.
Mike, a question about Webb. Similar temperament to Holman. Do they get along?
Gee, I really don't know how they get along. Webb is not as outward as Holman. Webb has a lot of confidence, but he's more controlled when he's on the lanes than Marshall is. Marshall is very flamboyant, very fiery, and will, when he gets those strikes, you know, he grinch those teeth and clench those fists and everything. Where Webb doesn't do nearly as much of that.
All right, trying to put Hanna's away. Double working up, 23. It's coming in, a little light, and he triggers it.
Oh, and he carried the 2 pin, and there we saw the clenched teeth and the grinched teeth and clenched fist there.
So in the 8th frame, Hanna's left a 10 pin, and since that time, Webb has doubled up. Hanna's is down 33.
How quickly it can change. With 3 frames to go, they were pin apart. Now he's down 33. Has to strike out to have any chance in the match. Still potential 226 if he would strike out. Force Webb to mark. High again.
Yep, and he leaves a split. He
4-6-10. Right now, what the players would say is that Wayne Webb has definitely the best ball reaction out there. He's playing right at the first arrow, and he can send the ball to his target or a little bit right and get it back. And if he makes good shots, the ball winds up in the 1-3 pocket. The other players have to be a little bit more accurate right now.
Hanna started out great. He had a turkey. In fact, he had Webb down 8. Then he left that 10 pin in the 8th.
Ted's virtually out of this match. The best he can finish with right now is 204.
Down 45. Little light. This time he doesn't. Leaves the deuce.
Yeah, he doesn't kick the 2 pin out of there as Webb did.
So Wayne Webb, who has already defeated Bill Straub, on his way to another victory.
And he has it right now. Even if he doesn't show up for the 10th frame, he's the winner.
And that means next is Dennis Jakes.
And Jakes and Webb are going to be roommates in Tucson. So we'll see how roommates battle one another.
Well, that's not till next week. I don't think that tonight is going to matter.
Well, they were teasing each other quite a bit before the show started. So during the pre-show stuff that we were doing. And it's just finishing out the string. Finish out with 194 with a strike. Finishes with 191. Webb, who shot 250, what did he shoot, 257 the first
257.
Game? Can shoot 259 this game if he strikes out. Had 9 strikes the first game. If he strikes out here, he can have 10.
Hannes winds up with $5,000.
Ooh, the 2-8-10, the old equalizer.
If you're going to miss it, now's the time to do it.
You're absolutely right there. All that'll do is make him think a little bit for the next match. You know, is this lane changing on me or not?
Ted Hannes, with the $5,000 he earns this week, that brings his 85 career earnings up to 44,000. Career, he's now over 320,000. All right, so Wayne Webb with a 224, the winner over Ted Hannes, 191, and that means Webb moves on. He will take on Dennis Jakes right after this.
True value. We've got what it takes. We've got what it takes to make it easy. We've got what it takes to make it good.
During July, get the Plano Tote More with storage drawer for just $3.99. Look for the Tool Value of the Month banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
We've got what it takes. True value.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made, the 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pin power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in lanes and pro shops.
Well, the 8th frame is the one that was the undoing for Ted Hanna.
3-6-10. We said it was a difficult spare, and he did not make a good shot to leave it, and he made a worse shot shooting it. Tried to make it almost on the outside here, and we thought he had a chance. Missed that spare. Webb went on to get another strike. One more after that, and closed out the match.
Wayne wound up with 7 strikes and all, had just the one open. That's all he's had this evening. A 224 to Ted Hanna's 191. Well, we're heading for Tucson, Mike, and the Tucson Open next week, and that should be interesting. $115,000.
Golden Pin Lanes, and
yep.
It's always warm in Tucson.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'd be no exception. So that happens July 17th. Our next stop after Tucson will be down in Austin. Pete Weber defends his title. We'll be at the Highland Lanes down there. Looking forward to seeing a lot of old friends.
Weber beat Marshall Holman last year. Marshall's bowled very well in that bowling center.
John Campus, one of our PR guys, is from there. And then we're going to go down to Waukegan, Illinois, and see if Mark Williams. Let's go up to Waukegan instead of down. Let's get
Chicago,
this geography right. They won $120,000 hammer open. Then let's go into Canada, huh? Pete Weber, once again, the defending champion. I guess we'll fly into Detroit.
Did he win every tournament last summer?
I think he did all right, didn't he? Well, that's what's coming up, and we hope you'll stick with us all summer long on ESPN, the PBA Tour. All right, we got a tip for you, and once again, my partner, Mike Durbin, is going to show you all that good stuff. The setup is what Mike is talking about.
Jack Nicklaus and many others say that a poor shot is often the result of a bad setup. And the same is true in bowling. Many a bad shot in bowling is the result of an imbalanced or an improper or even awkward setup. We see bowlers start their approaches in all sorts of physical contortions. And really, I believe they make it way too hard. They make it so hard that it becomes imbalanced and awkward for them. Well, if these ways, the imbalanced way, is the wrong way to set up, what is the right way? I'm going to give you some principles today that I think will be simple for you and will improve your setup. The first is that I want to pick up my bowling ball using both hands, and at the same time, I want to watch out that other balls aren't coming through here to smash my fingers. I did smash my nail earlier this year. Pick it up here with both hands, and now as I'm waiting to get up on the approach, I put the ball in my left hand if I'm a right-handed player, and in my right hand if I'm a left-handed player. It's my turn now. I get up here again, the ball's in my left hand. I use the inside edge of my left foot and find my starting mark on the approach with that inside edge of my foot. Then I bring my feet up together. You might want them right together or a little spread. I like to spread them just a little bit. Try and put the weight just about equally balanced on both feet. Again, the weight of the ball now is still in my left hand, and I put the ball right in the middle of my body. Put my fingers into the ball first, and then the thumb. And now again, I still got the ball in the middle of my body, the weight in my left hand. At this point now, I want to move it over here in line with my right shoulder. The reason for this is that I can swing it straight now, and having it in line with my right shoulder helps some of us to get it around our hips. Some of us have a bigger problem with that than others do. At this point now, I'd like to pick up my target with my eyes, and I may want to take a deep breath. And be sure and exhale, and then you're ready to start. Now what this setup does is that I'm ready to go at this point. I'm relaxed, I'm not physically contorted, and maybe most important, I look like a bowler. Next week, we're going to talk about what happens next, and that's the push away.
Well, you look marvelous, Mike. You did a great job. All right, coming up, Webb and Jakes. Can Jakes slow him down? We'll find out right after this message.
They keep rolling on, and the showboat, they keep rolling on. The showboat, that's where you belong in Las Vegas. The showboat.
Saturday, July 13th, roller derby. America's roughest, toughest sport returns to the showboat as the LA T-Birds, Texas Outlaws, and Golden State Bombers battle for the President's Cup.
Normally, your Dodge dealer waits till September for his clearance.
Come September, it's your Dodge dealer's end-of-the-year clearance.
But cars and trucks keep rolling in.
Come August,
So
it's your
now,
Dodge
we
dealer's
put
end-of-the-year
8.8% financing on some great Dodge cars and trucks. 8.8 on selected Ram Tough Dodge pickups. 8.8 on the revolutionary front-wheel drive Dodge Lancer. Both backed by Dodge's 550 protection plan. All now, before the end of the year.
Announcing the before the end of the year clearance.
Las Vegas Dodge on both sides of town.
Well, one of the top-rated shows on ESPN is Top Rank Boxing. We've got some good action coming up for you July 17th. Resorts International, Atlantic City. We've got an 8-round match. John Meekins will take on Greg Hagen, a junior welterweight match. Derek McGuire goes against Anthony English. Be sure and join us. Once again, Top Rank Boxing, Wednesday, July 17th. Some of the other finishers, as we mentioned, Jim Harvey, and
saw him a couple weeks ago. Ricky Sajak breaking out of a slump. A great name, Brad Bowling, for bowling there. Of course, the fiery Marshall Holman and the great Mark Roth. Albee, who's our leading money winner this year. And, oh, of course, colorful Guppy Troop. We don't want to neglect him.
Guppy wanted to say hello to everybody for Guppy.
And there's the defending champion in Tucson, Ron Palumbi Jr.
All right, here's what we're going after. We have decided some of this already. Is Bill Straub has earned $4,000, Ted Hannes $5,000, and either Wayne Webb or Dennis Jakes will take home the $6,000 third prize. Interesting. You talk about Mark Roth. They tell a story about him going to a Rangers hockey game in New York. They gave him a bigger cheer than Esposito. Roth is big back there.
He's very popular, and he's a great Rangers fan.
Yes. All right, Webb and Jakes. Big Dennis Jakes. We have seen him a bunch. He's been hot.
On the crossover.
How about that? A little Brooklyn to open up.
Remember against Steve Webb a couple weeks ago in Seattle, came out with the first 5 strikes in a row, wound up winning 226 to 201. But I think it's going to be a different story this time.
This is Dennis' 4th appearance in the championship round. Wayne Webb, who's it's like winter, keep the court here. You know, I used to play as a kid in basketball. Wayne refuses to give it up tonight.
Absolutely. Keeps popping them 250s and 220s. He gets tough to beat.
Up.
He leaves a 9.
Trips the 4, leaves that 9. Remember his last shot in the 10th frame on lane 46, he left the 2-8-10. He made sure he didn't leave that this time.
257 against Straub, a 224 against Hannes. Wayne has averaged 221 all week.
See, what I think Wayne is thinking in his mind right now as he converts the 9-pin is that he has the best ball reaction out there. He has the best shot. He's confident. He feels the other players don't have that good a ball reaction right now, and I'm sure Wayne thinks that he's going to win the tournament.
Webb lost to Jakes 228 to 247 earlier this week in match play. Does that mean anything at all?
Not a thing. Not a thing. It was on a different pair of lanes at a different time of the day. It doesn't mean anything.
It's about like a wide receiver running 4-4 versus 4-5. It depends on how he gets up in the morning.
Right. You know, some players have the whammy runs. You know, our scorekeeper here this week, Tommy Baker, I never beat him, but it's just...
Tom, big smile.
Solid
Wayne.
10 for Wayne.
So Wayne Webb opened up with a spare. Now he needs to pick up the 10 for a spare. We're talking about Tommy Baker, our scorer, doing a great job. Let me mention somebody else who does an outstanding job for us each week. Frank Ellenberg filled in for you when you were competing up in Seattle. Frank works in the truck, and he's just a dynamite guy. I mentioned John Campus, Phil Ferguson, Chuck Pisano, people who make our job so much easier, and of course the Goose, Harry Golden. Webb picks it up. And there's Miss Riverside.
Are you going to tackle that last name there?
Say Janet C. quick, and then nobody knows. Webb and Jakes.
Jake's trying for a quick double here to get out ahead of his next week's roommate. It's high. Oh, boy! Well, a Brooklyn and almost a nosedive.
Oh, are you kidding? This guy has been hot. We talked to him about how he has stayed hot this last month.
Well, I just applied what I've been learning out here for the last 4 years. I've had some good roommates, Wayne Webb and Kellen Gillette. Wayne has taught me a few things. I watch, I learn, ask a few questions, and the ball drillers out here with the equipment, Lichstein and Billy Hall, they've helped me get the right equipment and the right weights, and it's all worked for me.
Well, that time the crossover and the 610 wiggle, but they don't go, Mike.
Well, you can't depend on them. You're not supposed to get on those crossovers too often. Right now, actually, he's all over the alley, and he's got a double and a potential spare. Has a spare. His spare game has definitely improved. He's learned to throw the ball straighter and harder at the spares, as so many of the big hook ball bowlers do.
I think Lupi Raffini, he was thanking a lot of people. Lupi Raffini really helped him refine the game. It's interesting, talking about Jakes, he gives a percentage of what he wins each week to multiple sclerosis. Very, very involved. All right, Wayne Webb, down 9. Spare going, 3rd frame.
Trying for his first strike of this game.
And he's got it. Remember when he bowled Jakes in Seattle, he didn't get a strike until the 9th frame.
The 9th frame, right. A little different story this time. He's asking for a re-rack over on lane 45. He's getting it. Again, he had not gone to his bowling ball first. The temptation is by habit, you just pick up that bowling ball. You have to discipline yourself not to do that, but to...
See if he can double up here now.
Take the lead in the match if he does.
4th frame. Wayne Webb, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Looks good.
Oh, body anguish all the way for Webb. And he doubles.
A little intimidation there for his roomie.
And he takes the lead over his roomie by 1. Well, we'll come back and see what Big Dennis can do about it right after this message.
Hey, give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Oh, can I have a light?
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Summertime and the outdoor living is easy with fine products from True Value hardware stores. like the Sunbeam dual burner gas grill for delicious barbecued foods that will slice and prepare easily with the Harvard Cutlery 3-piece barbecue tool set. Keep your cooking supplies and other items handy with the Marsh Allen Redwood patio table. And after dark, beautify and illuminate your home or patio with the Intermatic Malibu 2 floodlight set from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Well, this is appropriate because most of the bowlers you talk to do like to hit the golf ball, and we've got the prestigious British Open coming up right here on ESPN, your source for sports. You know all the big names are going to be there. Seve Ballesteros, the defending champ, Nicklaus, Watson. Bill Rogers took the title the last time this tournament was played at Royal St. George. That happened in 1981. All of it starts Thursday, July 18th on your source for sports.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Got to mention that a lot of people that are bowling tonight played golf this morning.
Man getting up right now, Dennis Jakes is an excellent golfer, shoots in the 80s. Man in the truck, Frank Ellenberg, shoots in the 70s. Boy, I tell you what, they took up the wrong sport. I mean, Jakes trying for a strike on lane 46, a little high again.
And it leaves the 3-9. Some of the things that went on this week, Mike, Robert Worrell had the high 3-game series of 786, also the high 6-game block. We haven't had him yet. What type of bowler is he?
He's an off and on type player. He can get really hot, and sometimes he struggles quite a bit as Jakes tries for the 3-9 and has a nice conversion on that spare.
Did a good job.
The thing about Worrell is that he went from out of the money to in the money. He had a chance at the top 24, who wound up cashing the tournament with that big block that he had. We had some 300 games, too.
Yes, we did. Leroy, Bornhop, Guppy Troop, guy we talked about before, Del Warren, Earl Zeman all had 300. Of course, if somebody does it during the telecast, $25,000 from True Value.
Jakes, who's been Brooklyn on his feet twice, puts it in the pocket, and that's back for the roomie on that little Grinch tee shot there.
Let's take a look at the wrist action here. Let's
see how
describe it.
He cups that wrist even in the start. It'll be cupped all the way through the swing. At the top of the swing, see, even there, I don't know how these guys do that myself. And at the bottom, he just rolls that wrist around that ball and gets all those revolutions out of it.
He's been fortunate. He had a ball drilled correctly from day one when he started, and he hasn't had any thumb problem. All right, here's Webb. Double gone.
Oh, gets a can opener on that. I'll tell you what, I've watched that hit 1,000 times, and I've never have been able to figure out what hits the 10-pin on it.
What is a can opener?
A can opener is where that ball hits light in the pocket, and the pins just open up like that, and it was referred to years ago as a can opener.
Well, my wife learned something because I thought it was something we had in the kitchen. Webb is up 13, triple going, 6 frame. Webb and Jakes. Nobody has been able to slow Webb down tonight. Started out, beat Straub, beat Hanna, now leads Jakes.
Trying for 4.
Looks pretty good. Little light. Oh, he gets it.
Oh, he gets the 2-pin forward again for the second time tonight.
Wayne Webb is up by 23, and the 2 just hung, and then it dropped. Let's look at this again. This is where it's agony watching that deuce.
Watch
Jakes.
the headpin. Watch the headpin. See what it does. It goes to the wall, comes back and mixes around. I think it was actually the 5-pin that knocked that 2-pin forward. Jakes has to have a double.
Come on, one time.
You heard him one time. Throws that right arm pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it were a slugging contest here between the two, I don't know how Webb would do, but if it were the bowling contest.
Wife Kendall at home watching.
Jakes showing a lot of heart. He was struggling all over the lane, and now suddenly he's cut into that lead.
He had the lowest score on TV ever, 157. Beat Sam Zurich in the Molson Challenge.
It was the lowest winning score. I mean, he
winning
won,
score, I should
won
say,
the tournament.
yes.
He's down 13, can cut it to 3 with 1 more. He's light again. Oh, he gets a 10-pin late. We got a match here, I'll tell you.
Do we ever? 3 in a row for Jakes. Webb leads by 3, has 4 in a row. We'll come back and see what happens. We do have a match. Stick with us.
The Olympic tradition continues with ABC's The Equestrians, 1984 Olympic Highlights video cassette. Produced by ABC Sports and offered by ABC Video, this 90-minute compilation includes a spectacular 3-day event which combines graceful dressage, exciting show jumping, and demanding cross-country competition. Order your cassette of The Equestrians on either VHS or Beta for only $69.95, plus $3 shipping and handling charges. California residents add $4.55 sales tax for each cassette. Call toll-free 1-800-445-3800. Georgia residents call 1-800-554-7800. American Express, Visa, and MasterCard orders accepted. Or order by mail. Send your check or money order payable to The Equestrians, 1984. To ABC Video Enterprises, The Equestrians, 2040 Avenue of the Stars, 2nd floor, Los Angeles, California, 90067. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
Thursday night, ESPN has a live top-ranked bout featuring our undefeated middleweight champion. Ray Gray is 12-0 with 6 knockouts and counting. The Flash meets a tough Mike Tinley in the main event, and Olympic silver medalist Willie DeWitt is in action. All live Thursday.
The most prestigious event on the Women's Golf Tour is on ESPN live Friday. It's the 1985 U.S. Open. See the second round scramble to make the cut.
Well, Dennis Jakes, who's grinning and talking to Wayne Webb, he came over and visited with you. What was that all about?
Well, he said that the left lane had been tighter in practice and had broken down by the time he got into. We've been talking about this all the time. He has moved 7 boards on the approach left or further inside on that left lane to try and get the ball from where it was going Brooklyn earlier to in the 1-3 pocket now. Webb trying for 5 in a row. And has it on that light bucket crumbler.
What a great shot from behind Webb. That is 5 in a row for Wayne. Boy, he has been tough every time he's needed to be tonight.
That's the story of this man's career. He's tough when he needs to be.
Jake said something interesting. If you don't adjust, you're just going to get beat. You can't just go out and throw it one way.
Oh, no. You got to be able to play all over the lane. Trying for 6 in a row. Webb up by 13 right now. Can't afford any errant shots.
Yep. Boy, is he hot. Is he hot. He leads it by 23.
Jakes really has had it put to him right now. He made his big charge, got 3, cut into that deficit. Webb came right back and threw the strikes at him. Now you find out whether Jakes can come back and put the heat back on Webb.
Got doubled, doesn't he, Mike?
Yeah, well, he has to strike. He has to match Webb. He's got to stay right with him. As Kenny Stabler said, it's Fisher cut bait.
Yeah. One-time carry.
One-time carry?
Yeah, 4 in a row.
But the biggest shot of the match is coming up right now.
He's down 13, can get right back in it.
But it sets himself up for the 10th. Right now, he's going at a 2:37 pace, and he has a potential, or a 2:36 pace he's going at right now. He has a potential 2:66 if he would strike out. But he has to have this one in the 9th, not only to cut the lead to 3, but to give himself the strike to work on in the 10th.
4 in a row for big Dennis Jakes.
This has been his tough lane. Looks good.
Yeah,
great shot. Boy, he's put it to Webb, I'll tell you. Right now, Webb is potential 279 if he strikes out, and Jakes is potential 266. The difference is 3 pins in the match right now.
Well, you will find out what pressure is all about, because it is with us tonight. Here we go.
By far our best match of the summer, and somebody coughed or said something in the back, and Webb, being the veteran that he is, experienced player, backed right off, start over, regroup. It's too important a shot. Now he goes back for the powder. He put his thumb in that ball, and it was a little snug. He goes back for the powder, so then he blows in it again. All the little things that bowlers do.
Mike, he started out with 2 spares. Since that time, it has been all X's. 6 strikes in a row. Let's see if he can make it 7. Very important, 9th frame. Needs something going in the 10th.
Light. 10-pin doesn't go. It's a 2-pin match right now. But what that means is no matter what Wayne Webb does from now on out, Dennis Jakes is going to have a chance to win the match.
So he controls his own destiny. It's an old cliche, but true. Leading by 2. He's had trouble with the 10-pin from time to time.
From time to time. All of us have had trouble with the 10-pin from time to time, but Webb has missed it a few times.
All right, cross lane.
He doesn't miss it when it counts.
He has it. Boy, we got a dandy going. Up by 2 is Webb.
Irv, right now, the situation is that Webb is potential 258. You have to take him in the 10th one at a time, but he needs to get this first one to maintain that 2-pin lead. That would force Jakes to have to strike.
Webb had run 6 together. Spare working, 10th frame.
Very little time. Pretty shot.
Yep.
Knocks that 10-pin. Boy, that's just such a relaxed shot under that much pressure. I marveled at that ability to be able to do that. He just took very little time, walked up there with all the confidence in the world, just like it was practice. And again, no time. Blows in that thimble, goes up there and sets himself. Is up by 2, can increase it to 12 right here and force Jakes to get 2 in the 10th to win. Looks good again. No, it didn't make it this time. The 2-8, forcing Jakes to throw 1 strike to win the match.
So Jakes, it's all in his hands. He doesn't have to worry about what Webb does.
Well, Webb needs 1. No, even if he would miss these 2, Jakes would still need a strike to win.
Wayne's going to bowl 240 something. He had a 257 and a 224. Let's see if he picks this up. And he lightly picks it up, so he winds up with a 248.
And Jakes, who's just come on since the 5th frame, has to have a strike to win. Strike in a reasonable count. He's down 8 pins, or down 2 pins rather, going into this 10th frame.
Great deal of money at stake here tonight.
It's close.
Gave
Come
him
on,
room.
Kerry.
Oh, you heard him. It's close. Come on, Kerry.
Well, I'll tell you what. He really has shown some character in this particular match, making the adjustment on both lanes, and in the 10th frame when he needed it, just sending it to the right, and it came roaring back. Now he just wants a decent count, hit that headpin, get 8 or 9, that's all he needs. That's it. He's a winner, and an excellent performance by Dennis Jakes.
How tough was that? Webb had strung 6 in a row together, and all Jakes did is come back and pick up a double when he needed it. Very, very impressive. And that's something. Webb averages 250 and gets eliminated. 253 to 248. Jakes the winner. Great match. A great match. All right. Can Dennis Jakes pick it all up? Well, we shall find out, because waiting in the wings is the #1 ranked man, Amleto Monticelli. All of that coming up. The championship right after this.
Give me a light. Go! Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Thank you.
Because everything else is just a light.
Do you know what kills your muffler? Rust. Rust that can start on the inside and eat its way through. Now there's a muffler that helps stop this problem. The new Walker Advantage with a revolutionary rust inhibitor, Absorbite, that actually absorbs internal moisture. The inside of this muffler was not protected with Absorbite. This muffler was. You can see the difference. The new Walker Advantage. It puts rust at a disadvantage.
Warranted at service outlets and auto parts stores where you see this sign.
It's the only body you'll ever have. Make the most of it. If you're serious about exercise, and you should be, why not the best? Nautilus for the home. For full information about the new and revolutionary Nautilus for the home, call toll-free 1-800-445-9000. That's 1-800-445-9000.
Columbia 300 knows that all bowlers are not created equal. That's why Columbia 300 has spent years in research, just to have the right bowling ball for you. If you need less weight, the light dot. Bowl on drier lanes, the white dot. The perfect all-round ball, the world-famous yellow dot. And if you're ready for urethane, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is your ultimate weapon. Columbia 300, sold only in lanes and pro shops.
Well, Mike, it couldn't get any tougher because Dennis Jakes needed a strike in the 10th. Webb would put all the pressure on in the world.
There's the picture of concentration and determination. To see that set of that jaw. This is the first strike in the 10th frame. Smooth slide, clean release. Between the second and third arrow, the ball goes out to about the 7th or 8th board. There's just no doubt that it was going to strike. A perfect executed strike when he needed to. Dennis Jakes comes over and kind of said to us, good enough. I mean, he's living down that stigma of winning the title with 150 game because he's really coming into his own now.
And talking to those pins all the way, and there's the story there. Webb, a tough competitor, gets edged by Jakes, 253 to 248. Well, we've got some more action coming up for you on ESPN. ESPN's live 1985 NASCAR schedule. Well, it gets red hot on Sunday, July 21st. And you want to check it out. Bill Elliott, last year's pole sitter, and he had a speed of 152 miles per hour. He'll be there along with the 1984 Grand National Champion, Terry Labonte. Be sure and join us. Rely on ESPN for the best live NASCAR coverage in 1984. Live at the Summer 500, Sunday, July 21st. Little practice session right here, and right off the top, first question comes to my mind, Mike. How nervous is Monticelli? Because this is new for him.
I haven't seen him throw a strike. I'm watching him practice on these two lanes, and I have not seen him hit the 1-3 pocket yet. He seems totally lost at this point in the match. He's trying to play right of the second arrow on the left lane, and it's not coming up, although this particular practice shot got a little bit closer. And on the right lane, it's going high. Personally, I think right now, you know, if he still has a practice ball or two left, he needs to make a giant move left on the lane and move to the third arrow where Jakes was playing, or between the second and third arrow. As if he's playing where he is, if the practice balls are indication, which they aren't always, he doesn't seem to have a chance.
He takes 6 steps. Your thoughts on that type of approach?
Well, the greatest bowler the game has seen in quite a while. Mark Roth has made that pretty popular. You know, years ago, when we were teaching bowling and everything, you would never have heard of somebody taking 6 steps. Then came along Mark Roth, and everybody said, well, this poor kid, he can't do anything, and all he's done is win almost 30 titles, you know, and over $1 million. And so a lot of players now say, well, with that kind of success, maybe I should give it a shot, you know. And when you got that nice youthful coordination that Monticelli has, and timing and ability, he could probably take 10 steps and make it work out right.
Well, we'll see what happens, because he has not hit the 1-3 pocket yet.
Not yet.
Now we go for real. All right, Jakes was sensational. A 253. He beat Webb, who averaged 250.
One time.
Boy, he's still talking to him, and it's working. One time, you heard him.
He comes out with those teeth wrenched and that fist clenched, and trying to put some pressure, added pressure on Monticelli.
You know, I like that when people get excited like that. I used to, when I coached baseball, I liked pitchers who grunted. And I tell you, Jakes grunts.
You must like Jimmy Connors when he plays there, huh? And Monticelli's still playing outside. He's going to be bellying the ball from about the 10th board out to maybe the first arrow.
Boy, listen to that pop.
See, and same thing is happening in practice. He's made no adjustment right through the heart of the pins. Fortunately, he leaves only one, the 6 pin. But I really think that he needs... Of course, he's got very little experience in this type of situation. It's just hard to know what to do. This shot has probably worked for him all week long, and he's thinking, maybe it's me, maybe I'm not throwing it right, not releasing it right. I don't know what's going through his mind right now.
He looks about 15 years old.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Boy, that's a bad start. Boy, that's a tough start for Monticelli there. All right, he is on the verge of making history. We asked him his thoughts. Thoughts on this evening?
Well, I've been thinking about this since I was very little, and it seems like it's like a dream being here right now, and feel very good tonight to win this tournament.
Since he was very little.
Boy, he opened in the
you
first.
Remember, we saw Mark Baker do that, and it was all downhill after that.
All right, let's see if he can fight back. Remember, he's been tough all week. Oh, he's in trouble. Leaves a 6-10.
self-taught. Crowd trying to get him going. He's got a few supporters here. He speaks English, Italian, Spanish. I talked to him. He said it is really not competitive in Venezuela. He said that, you know, you can handle everybody down there. He says, here, it's the greatest bowlers in the world.
And he's doing very well at a very young age. See if he can get this spare. And he got it this time.
Oh, he pops that bowling ball up by his ear. That's amazing. Jakes is up 11.
And Jakes right now, maybe one of the things he was learning from Wayne Webb when he was rooming with him is that killer instinct, because if he's, what you want to do now when a man is struggling like that is you come out and you put him behind, boom, right away.
See if he keeps talking. And he does.
Jakes trying for his second win in 4 weeks. Sure looks like the odds-on favorite at this point.
And right now, he's right on schedule to pick up $25,000. We haven't had that happen. We got to give away some of True Value Hardware's money.
Well, that would add some excitement in this match. You're right. 2 strikes is a little early to start talking about 300s.
Jakes, good athlete. Baseball scholarship to North Carolina and Ryder.
Trying for 3.
Coming in.
Waves it in. Yeah, gets it.
Oh, when you're hot, you're hot. That's 3 in a row for Jakes. He's leading by 31, and Monticelli.
Watch the head pin. I think it's the head pin that goes to the wall and comes back as a messenger pin. He's waving it in. We can't see. He got in the way, but something came back and got it. That's for sure.
All right, let's see if Monticelli can get the bugs out. He has to be a little nervous.
He moved left a couple of boards, but I don't think that's going to be a big enough an adjustment here. Shows you how much I know.
Oh,
in the pocket.
Solid 10.
Well, at least he's gotten the ball in the 1-3, but I'll tell you what, the way Jakes is going, he's got to get his strike clothes on and in a hurry.
Monticelli started leading in the 4th round and kept that leadership all the way through. The early leader this week was Larry Barwick, and Bill Straub took over in the 2nd and 3rd. We saw Straub lose to Webb in the 1st match of the evening.
Ross Lane at the 10 pin, straightens it out, flattens out that shot at the 10, makes the spare.
Not to be redundant, but should Monticelli win tonight, he would become the first foreign player to capture a Professional Bowlers Association title. Well, Guppy won't like that because Guppy says, I'm from Scotland. I've never gotten my citizenship.
Guppy Troop says he green cards it every year and that he's a foreign player and he's won lots of tournaments. Well, we don't regard Guppy as foreign.
No.
Strange, but not foreign.
All right, Monticelli trails by 32. Really needs a strike here, 4th frame.
Really sends it out there. It's light, the 210, and this match is almost history already.
Jakes has a triple going, and I guess the big thing for Jakes is not to lose that concentration because he's got a nice fat lead and can't relax, can you?
No, you don't want to, suddenly you turn from thinking aggressively to, gee, I've got it won, let's just not make a mistake, that type of thinking.
Can't be tentative is what you're saying, Mike.
Right.
And oh, he gave it a go.
Oh.
What a go he gave it, but in serious trouble is Monticelli. 46-pin lead for Dennis Jakes. We'll come back, check the action out right after this message.
Fantastic Furniture Warehouse's gigantic showroom has been chosen for the most fantastic indoor parking lot sale ever held in Nevada. All the best furniture makers in America have filled Fantastic Furniture Warehouse with a special stock of fine quality furniture, including thousands of one-of-a-kinds and factory closeouts, all available to you this month only at up to 63% off. At Indoor Parking Lot Sale, this fantastic is why you should check the Money Saver.
The Money Saver saves money for you.
It's only at Fantastic Furniture Warehouse, Decatur and Okie.
The day Molly took her first steps, I was at a meeting. Now I don't go to meetings. I go down to meet the bus. I didn't give up a career. I just chose the right one for me.
You're the one we want to please. Cable gives the choice to you. The who, what, and when that's right for you.
Personal choice. That's what cable TV's about. It lets us decide what's important so we can grow together, and I like that.
Cable's right. 'Cause cable's not just more choice. It's your choice.
Well, we'll be in Tucson. We'll see all the top bowlers. Mike Albee continues to be the top money winner. Wayne Webb, Pete Weber right behind him. Ron Palumbi will be there, last year's winner. So be sure and join us July 17th. We'll be in Tucson at the Golden Pin Lanes. Back here in Riverside, Dennis Jakes has a perfect game going. Leads by 45. Let me correct something I said when we left. The lead is 45 over Monticelli.
Dennis with 3 in a row, trying for 4, trying to keep that momentum going. It's light. Here it comes, solid.
Yeah.
I can't judge those big hook balls. I think they're going to be light. They just roar back solid.
He has been sensational. That's 4 in a row. He leads it by 55. Needed everything going for him against Webb. What a great match. 253 to 248. And Webb once again had 6 in a row. At the time, Jakes had a triple going. He picked up a couple and then won it in the 10th. Going for 5. Coming in. Yep. Oh, it won't go. The 7.
Well, there goes the 300 game. Sure could have fallen. It was a great shot. Dennis, see if he throws a hook at the spare or straightens it out. Looks like he's going to throw it straighter. And he does. You see how he straightens it out?
Oh, he missed it.
And he missed it. It's those spares that give these big hook ball bowlers trouble. It's not the strikes.
Mike, your thoughts on going cross lane or trying to straighten it out?
Well, at the time, I do it, all my spares on the right side of the lane. I throw it straight anyway, but I try and throw it a little straighter at those. But I make a normal shot at 7-pin, 4-pin, things of that nature, because I just don't feel it's necessary to try and throw the ball straighter there.
Our Monticelli has not had a strike tonight. He's down 42. Let's see if he can string something. High again. A little high.
And again, he's just what the players call lost. He just does not know where to throw the ball to put it in the 1-3 pocket. Remember that Jakes told us he moved 7 boards left, that the lanes have broken down, and especially the left lane, that much. That's what I would recommend. If I could go down and talk to Amleto right now, I'd say, hey, move about an arrow left.
3, 6, 9, 10. Not an easy pick.
Oh, no, it's a very difficult spare. And he's in trouble.
Oh, he was light, but yet he somehow gets it done there, and he needed that to have any chance. Let's take a look at this open shoulder. Tough on arms.
Tough on consistent delivery. You get a dual picture of it from behind and from the side. And you watch how that shoulder opens up completely there, and the hand turns back around the ball to be able to come back and consistently, and even the arm is bent a little bit as he comes through, to consistently make that delivery is very difficult at best. He has the advantage of youth on his side, but it won't always be there. And leaves the 1, 2, 4, 8, 10, and it's just...
Well, it's a struggle. His career earnings, $86,000. He's picked up $33,000 this year. 5'9", 144.
Finished second earlier this year to Mike Albee in Garden City, and it looks like he's going to finish second to Dennis Jakes today. Has to make this to have any kind of chance, and doesn't convert it.
Continuing to struggle. He's an excellent soccer player. He's a jogger.
He jogs 3.5 miles a day. He does exercises, Jane Fonda stretching exercises. He works at his bowling hard. He's out here not to fool around. He's out here not to party, but to try and make money and become a star in Venezuela.
Dennis Jakes, a commanding 59-pin lead. Well, he may have a problem with the 7-pin, but any problem hitting the 1-3 pocket.
Oh, you're right.
It's 5 out of 6 strikes for Jakes, who is on his way to picking up $16,000, and he has really been the most consistent thing we have seen in our 5 stops.
Well, again, he won $18,000 in Seattle, and I think he won $4,500 last week, and another $16,000 this week. Puts him right at about $38,500, almost $40,000 for the last 4 weeks. If he leaves the 2-4-5, we'll see how he does with this spare.
If Dennis can hold on to this lead, he will be up around $70,000 for 1985. A year ago, he earned $27,000.
And again, he's just throwing the ball straighter at the spare, and has it. Says, all right, I can make a spare.
All right, a commanding lead, 59 pins for Dennis Jakes over Monticello. We'll pick up Amleto when we return right after this message.
You need life insurance protection, a good chunk of it, but you don't want to keep paying for it forever. Look into Quick Pay. the different kind of life insurance from Transamerica. With QuickPay, you decide the number of years you want to pay for your coverage. 3, 5, 7, that's it. You're paid up for life. You're protected for life. Let me show you. Say you're like me, 40, don't smoke, and you need $100,000 of protection. And you want your payments to end in 5 years. Look, you pay $1,569 a year, a total of $7,845 in premiums, not a cent more. You have $100,000 in protection from the word go. All along the way, your Transamerica QuickPay policy builds tax-deferred cash value at high current interest rates. And you don't pay even one premium after the first 5 years. QuickPay from Transamerica. Find out about it. Quick. For complete details about QuickPay, call 800-372-3000. Toll free, that's 800-372-3000. Call now.
Saturday, the spirit of excellence is the dominant force. First, the USA takes on West Germany and Canada in back-to-back basketball thrillers. Then, our SportsCenter team delivers television's most comprehensive sports news report. We're your best source for the latest scores and stories. More Summer Olympics action is up next. The Mary Decker-Zola Bud Showdown and Carl Lewis are among the featured performers in a track and field spectacular. ESPN makes sports magic Saturday.
Well, the fifth place money went to Bill Straub. Fourth spot, Ted Hannes picked up the $5,000. Wayne Webb at $6,000. And our two competitors left, Dennis Jakes, and I have just butchered Monticelli's name all night long. He is not going to invite me for dinner. I apologize to him. Let's see if he can get something going here. He was so good all week long. And he got one. And the crowd appreciates it. Way to go. It's tough. We saw Bill Straub. Good bowlers struggle.
A wide range of scores today. What did Straub have in the 140s?
148.
And right now Monticelli's going at a 150 pace, and we saw yet 250 and 240 by Webb and Jakes. The old adage that when you're lined up out here, the pins fall down, and when you're not, it can be disastrous.
So Monticelli, a strike working, 8th frame.
Have any prayer, he must strike here. And doesn't. He did try to tighten his lineup that time and go a little straighter. That just got no reaction like he's been getting all week long. You don't average 225 bowling 150 games.
And he isn't going against chopped liver. He's going against some excellent bowlers. Jakes put him away early with 4 in a row. Open in the 9th. Or in the 5th, I mean. So he picks it up.
Well, Jakes has bowled super, and he bowled great against Wayne Webb, but to win his title last a couple weeks ago in Seattle, Webb didn't throw a strike until the 9th frame, and in this match, Monticelli's had 1 strike so far in the first 8 frames, so it helps you relax a little bit, loosens up that swing, but he came out with 5 in a row that time and 4 in a row this time. He's definitely earned it.
All right, spare work in 8th frame.
Gives this one more room. Solid 10.
Dennis Jakes is 6'3", 225.
Cross lane at the 10 pin.
Remember, he missed a 7 back in the 5th. Picks this one up, though.
When he made that 2-4-5, he looked up at us and smiled and says, see, I can make a spare. So.
And there's Miss Riverside. We mentioned her just a little earlier. That's Janet Chimlowski.
Janet C.
Janet C. Tell you what I've done to her name and Monticelli.
Well, we'll just get Sal Vemity back on the show. He leaves the 3-6-10 in the 9th frame, just finishing out. In fact, actually getting that 7 pins right there is definitely locked him into winning this tournament, his 2nd in 4 weeks. Has the spare. And smiles.
Dennis Jakes going to pick up a fat paycheck of $16,000 tonight.
Interestingly enough, he didn't think he had a chance going into the last day,
That's
and he
right.
flew his wife Kendall back home, and so she's back home watching, rooting. and doesn't need to root anymore. She knows he's won.
And home is Middleton, New Jersey. All right, Monticelli. There'll be another day. He's only 23 years of age. Father owns the only bowling center in his hometown.
We probably should mention before he gets off the air the red shoe and the white shoe that he has on, in case people are wondering about that back home. The red shoe has a built-up heel to help him stop so that he doesn't slide as much, and that's why he has that on. It's not that he's colorblind or something of that nature. Well, he just never got close on lane 45. Never got close one time.
That wasn't his deal tonight. Riverside, California. This is the 5th stop for us. We'll be in Tucson next week. Austin the week after.
And finishes in the 140s. A disappointing performance by M. Leto. I know he's disappointed, but as you said, there'll be another day.
So Dennis Jakes, all that remains is the number. Did such a great job against Webb. Outstanding match. 253 to 248. Has been able to relax in this one. Came out through 4 in a row.
And as soon as he
Monticelli
lost the 300, he seemed to lose interest in the match a little bit.
Well, he really did. He's had 1 strike since that time. Had an open, the rest spares, but the match was over very, very early. Monticelli just you couldn't get it going tonight.
Well, we watched him in the practice balls, Irv, and we called it before the game started that it looked like he was lost before he started, and it turned out to be true.
I got 146.
Finishing it out with a strike and 212. Jakes wins it out.
Dennis Jakes is our champion as he throws the 212. Monticelli, you tack on that 253 through it. Wayne Webb, that is. Dennis Jakes is our winner. He says, I missed a spare, but so what? All right, we'll come back. Have more from Riverside right after this.
I'm here to tell you all you get by ordering Sports Illustrated now.
And I'm here to make sure he gets it right. Get it right.
Yes, sir. Mr. Alzado. Sports Illustrated not only gives you unbeatable weekly football coverage, they'll knock you over with their big 1985 college and pro football spectacular. And it is spectacular.
Go on.
It's filled with football. Full-color football. A bright look at the players and teams and the games they play. It's a lot of great stuff you don't find anywhere else. But you can get it all by calling this toll-free number, 1-800...
Wait a second. Don't give them that number yet.
But they need the number if they're going to call.
Not until you tell them everything they get.
You get the famous Sportsman of the Year double issue and the annual swimsuit issue. As always, a beautiful preview of what's new under the sun. And it's all yours. And by ordering now, you get 40% off the cover price.
Give them 50.
50?
Well, almost 50.
Okay. You get almost 50% off the cover price. So you'll get 30 issues at the low basic rates, payable in 3 monthly installments of only $9.89. So every week, no matter what the sport, you'll get the timely, colorful coverage that only Sports Illustrated can give you. What more could you want? Just call this toll-free number.
Give him this, too.
Free?
Free.
You also get free this handy 1985 NFL football schedule. So
and this?
They get this great pair of binoculars, too?
Do what I say.
So call now, and you also get these sporty, high-quality binoculars.
Free.
Free with your paid subscription. They're perfect for getting closer to football or anything else you want to get close to. And they're free. Oh, and so is this handsome carrying case from Sports Illustrated. Not only do you get a lot of football, you get a lot more.
But to get it, you better call now.
I do what he says.
Call now. 1-800-221-3200.
Well, there's a guy who's won it all, a big smile. Dennis Jakes, you came out and you had just an outstanding game against Wayne Webb, and you had to. Webb had 6 in a row, and you needed to strike at the time. You had a turkey going. You wind up with 5 in a row, and then in the 10th, the big strike, and that's the one that did it.
It certainly was. All week long I had been throwing the strike when I needed it. I was hitting the pocket. I was confident I was going to hit it. And if a 10-pin stood, or an 8 or a 9, it was just part of the game, and it carried for me, and I was able to go on.
It's a good thing that this guy is big, because we have a trophy over here that is going to knock your eyes out. Billy Martin, that's not the Yankee skipper. Bill Martin is a general manager here at Active West. And Bill, I don't know, can you pick that up, or what are we going to do with this thing here? We're going to need a truck to haul it away. I'm going to get you in here and let you say a word or two, Bill.
Dennis, nice guys really do finish last. Congratulations on behalf of Active West Town Square Lanes and all of the fans in the Riverside area.
All right, Bill Martin. And okay. Now, the important part. I know the trophy's great, but let's also get you a little money. Paul Spiegel, who is one of the owners here at Active West. I think you've got something for him, Paul.
Dennis, on behalf of all of us at Active West, congratulations, and I'm happy to present you with this check for $16,000, which brings your winnings for the day to $16,003. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Well, he'll need that $16,000 to buy something that he can haul that trophy with. You have really been red hot. The last month, you've just owned everything.
Well, it's we have a little saying out here: when they give it to you, take it and run, because you're going to have some dry days out here. So I'm trying to make it all worthwhile right now, and just want to be a consistent player, that I can be out there and make some money and make a good living.
All right, Mike's got a few thoughts.
Dennis, first of all, congratulations on your win. I have a couple questions. First of all, you came out in the opening match and the ball was going high, even on the crossover on the Brooklyn side. Then suddenly, halfway through the match, boom, you start hitting the pocket. What adjustment did you make?
Well, on the left lane, I had, in practice, it was a little bit tighter, so I was a little bit further out, and it had dried up with the couple of games bowled on it. So all I did was move back into where I was on the right lane, and it was just a little bit tighter, and I just had to make sure I executed a little bit better on the left lane, and it all worked out.
You were happy to finish on the right lane then?
Oh, definitely. I knew that was going to hook, and my game has a few mistakes in it, so if I was going to make it, I had to make it right, and hopefully it would come back.
Well, you certainly did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me ask you one thing. You had a shot at the 300 game with 4 in a row. After that, you came on, and did you lose your concentration?
Just a little bit. Amler was struggling. I knew he was going to have a little trouble with the left lane, and it's kind of hard. It was almost like in Seattle when you get that big lead to keep going, and you start to tend to wander and think about a few things, and it was just a little bit hard to keep my adrenaline pumping.
Final quick thought, Mike?
Those Grinch teeth and everything for Wayne Webb, was that especially for him, or was that for anybody?
Oh, that's a little bit. Me and Wayne are old roommates. We're going to be rooming together next week in Tucson, and we're go after each other a little bit. I'd like to thank everybody here at Active West, all the fans for coming out tonight to help, and thank you very much.
All right, that'll do it. That's the story. Dennis Jake's our winner. Yeah, thank you very much from Southern California. Has been brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. We've got what it takes. For Mike Durbin, this is Irv Brown. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we'll be in Tucson. Be sure and join us as we hit our 6th stop on the PBA Summer Tour.
United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. Nobody